time. It's
Monday. Go on there as the start of the video. Whoa, what's going on? Push play and you're just over there shredding and they're like, well, how does it sound? I want to hear it. This is part 2 of our Reverend pickup install. And I did edit out the little part where we said the wrong bridge pickup.
Oh, yes.
So it's vintages on the outside and a classic in the middle. So it's not a vintage hot. A vintage hot video is coming at some point. So let's recap. If you missed part 1, we're going to put it in the description below because that was from the bench where we talked about what we did to this guitar. So let's really quickly recap what we did, starting with your part.
Yeah, so I swapped out the pickups and it entailed just taking off the guard and, you know, I was able to just replace one wire at a time. And hopefully that helped give somebody the courage to learn a new skill. Yep. And yeah, I've changed a lot of pickups. I really like these pickups. I was glad they all fit. Sometimes you swap pickups and not everything lines up, but this is a good guitar. It just swapped.
Yeah, you know? And it feels and plays really, really good. I did the fretwork on the guitar, so for the most part, if you go back to part 1, I did have to level a little bit around 12 or 13 on kind of the higher string area. There was one little high spot, but the frets were leveled, but they weren't really polished and crowned very well. So we went back through and kind of gave them a quick shine. You saw me using the Music Nomad Shield on that. Again, we're not going to recap super detailed what we did in part 1. You can go watch that while we're talking and working on this guitar. But the frets are clean and shiny, and then we did a little bit of setup on it, got the action kind of a little better to where we want it. And this is what's been cool about this is, like we said in the first video, it's a quality candidate for upgrading and for working on, and it held up very well. Responded to, you know, the setup, to the new pickup set. Love the limba body, kind of the lightly roasted neck. It's just a great guitar. We knew of the quality of Reverend, and that doesn't really bother us to have to put work into something because we're always swapping pickups. But yeah, so overall, really happy with this. Any kind of quick thoughts on it? Things you like about it now versus before, and then we can get to the playing here in a minute.
Well, and I did play it on my way out the door that day that we did the stuff on it, and you definitely did make it play a lot easier and a lot smoother. And that was, I did a weird thing to my wrist last week, and so I wasn't able to like dig into it like I wanted to. But it's like where I was in the chords that I was able to do, I was like, this is really nice and fun to play. And so you just, you know, you just made it a little more inspiring, and me at like 50% capacity was still able to enjoy it. Yep, yeah. So that's a good thing. And, and it's not that this was bad by any means. I touched on it in the last video, but we're just super picky guitar nerds. And we like things to be in a very specific spot, and we kind of tend to fixate on these things. So we just wanted to get it to where we're used to kind of having stuff. And now this is definitely one of the best demo guitars in the shop, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And so we'll show some shots of the setup on this, and we might even do another video where we kind of talk about kind of the P90 setup specifically. I think I did a P90 height adjustment video, and people freaked out because I didn't show how to adjust it, but I figured it was very self-explanatory. But I'm realizing, going back, looking at it, like it's not always obvious to everyone. Even a guy recently was like, I thought covers were screwed on, not soldered. And so it's just kind of as we educate guitarists, we have to assume that maybe they don't know what we know off the top. You know, it might be common sense, but it's not to everyone, because not everyone's pulled the P90 off and looked under the hood and that kind of thing. So we'll do some more like technical related stuff to the P90s where we have them set. But right now they're kind of set in this staircase sort of thing, which is kind of one of our favorites, where the neck pickup is lowest and we have the triple P90. So as we go up through the pickups, they're closer and closer to the strings, and then your last one's going to be, you know, as close as we feel comfortable. But we don't do the factory setup. This is what sounds good for this guitar. So we're using our ears, we're setting this up how we want it. So now we're going to jump over and each take a little whirl on this. One thing I do really love is the 5-way switch with 3 P90s. Hearing the P90s as the in-between positions with the hum canceling and kind of the quackiness like you would get from a Strat. Now we're hearing it on P90s, and that's just been a blast because that's not a pickup position that you normally hear all that often. And that's what I've been enjoying about guitars lately is like, I want to hear something new. You know, I know that we can make stuff sound good, and so how can I put two really good pickups together and then hear them in a different way? So you've got the reverse wound classic in the middle with the vintage neck or with the vintage bridge, and that gives you some pretty cool tones, I think. So
yeah,
let's plug it in. I know everyone's like, okay, stop talking. We want to hear how it sounds. We did not do a before, so we're not going to do a comparison video. I know we're going to disappoint half of the 25 people that will watch this on day one, but we're just going to get it in front of your ears and do some clean and maybe some dirty, maybe some effects. I don't know. We'll see. We're recording this a day before we record the audio, so tomorrow, going back in time land, we'll see what ends up coming out of this guitar. But there will be more videos and more demos of this guitar. So we just want to give you kind of a flyover of what it sounds like, and hope you enjoyed these more intensive, kind of detailed videos. I think that's all really I have to say, other than let's get into the tones, and that'll be the end of the video.
Yeah, let's tone it up.
Sweet.